In this narrative, we delve into the heartfelt and intimate accounts of two people who confront the profound effects of their life decisions. The first story reveals a woman's experience of marrying a much older, wealthy man at a young age, which brought financial comfort but left her wrestling with regrets and an ongoing power imbalance. The second story follows a man confronting the trauma and turmoil caused by the horrific betrayal within his family, as he fights for justice and struggles with guilt and vengeance. Together, these stories illuminate the intricate consequences of our choices and the complex emotions that follow. This is my story about the cost of stability. I married a man who was 40 years old when I was just 19. We had started dating when I was 17. Yes, it sounds unsettling, but that's how it unfolded. There was no grand, sweeping romance, no whirlwind love story to speak of. The truth is, I married him for his financial security, and he married me because I was young and attractive. That was the unspoken exchange. Everyone understood it, even if no one voiced it directly. He had what I wanted, and I offered what he desired. Still, I believe I have redeeming qualities. I like to think I'm kind, intelligent, and capable. But none of that influenced the dynamic of our marriage. It wasn't my character or my mind that sealed the deal. It was my youth, my looks, my physical presence. That was my currency, and I willingly spent it. I've been married to him for 20 years now. We have 4 children together. Our life is comfortable, stable, and predictable. Over the years, we've developed shared interests, and in some way, we do love each other. The kind of love that grows after building a life side by side. Yet, if I could go back and give my teenage self a reality check, I wouldn't hesitate for a second. Here's why. What no one tells you, or rather what they do say, but you ignore because you're a naive teenager, is that marrying for money creates a debt, not just for the house, the cars, the vacations, or the security. You owe him every single day. It's not just about sex, it's deeper and more insidious. It's about power, control, and an unspoken imbalance that laces through almost every interaction, every conversation, every decision. It doesn't matter that I gave him 4 children. It doesn't matter that I've managed our home, our lives, our daily routines for 2 decades. It doesn't matter that I've been a wife, a mother, a caretaker, a confidant. At our core, the structure of our marriage has remained unchanged. He's the provider, I'm the recipient. Regardless of the years past, I've never stopped owing him. He never spells it out, but I feel it in every glance, every sigh, every choice that I don't fully make for myself. When you marry for money, that debt is everywhere, woven into the seams of your life in ways you never could have imagined when you were young and foolish, thinking that exchanging your youth for wealth was a fair bargain. It's in the way he asserts his authority at unexpected moments, like when I propose repainting the kitchen, only for him to dismiss the idea, reminding me that he paid for the house, as if that invalidates my say in what color I should wake up to each morning. It's in how he orders at restaurants without consulting me, presuming his choices are superior. Maybe, after all this time, he does know what I like, but that's not the point. The point is the underlying message. He's in charge, he makes the decisions. I exist within the space he allows. It's evident in his indifferent attitude towards my career ambitions, not out of spite, but something far worse. After our youngest was born, I went back to school, hoping to carve out a life of my own. His support was the kind rich men offer when their wives take up hobbies, detached, mildly amused, never concerned. When I finally landed a job, he smiled and said, "Oh, that's cute." It's a quiet reminder that I'll never hold full autonomy. Though we have a joint bank account, I lack the level of access he enjoys. We run a family business, but I'm excluded from meaningful decisions. We own a house, but it's his property, not ours. This isn't a partnership. It never really was. It was a contract I signed without reading the fine print. The strangest part of this life is the loneliness it brings. People assume wealth erases hardship, that luxury dulls regret. But there is a unique isolation that accompanies marriage under these terms. The women in my social circle are just like me, wives of wealthy men. They host charity luncheons, compare designer bags, take extravagant trips. They understand me in a way only fellow golden-caged women can. Yet, I can't confide in them. I can't voice how sometimes I feel like a kept pet, or how I wonder if he'd still look at me the same if I gained 30 pounds, or if I ever truly loved him. These are things unsaid. Instead, we sip our wine, smile, and tell each other how fortunate we are. We exchange updates on our children's schools, the trainers we've hired, or the latest vacation home. We laugh too loudly at unfunny things, because if we don't, we risk breaking down, and no one wants to be the first to crack. I don't hate my life. I don't wake up miserable each day. I have comfort, a stable life, and children I love more than anything. But there's regret. Not the sharp, gut-wrenching kind, but a slow, creeping ache that settles deep within over years. I regret never having the chance to fall in love like young girls are supposed to. I regret never building something with someone from the ground up, sharing struggles, dreaming together, fighting over bills, making up over cheap takeout in a tiny rented apartment that belonged to both of us. This is the story of a man navigating the painful aftermath of a deep family betrayal. He is 33 years old with 3 younger sisters. His parents separated early in his life, leaving him and a sister close in age to manage a new family dynamic when his mother remarried. The new stepfather seemed kind at first, bringing treats to the children and creating an illusion of care. However, as the years passed, things took a dark and disturbing turn. The youngest sisters arrived and the family moved into a new house where the man's younger sister, Heidi, began exhibiting troubling behavior. Despite initial dismissals of her self-harm and sudden illness as typical teenage issues, the reality was far grimmer. Heidi revealed a horrifying truth. Their stepfather had been abusing her and the other sisters, including the baby. The man faced the unbearable task of seeking justice. Armed with solid evidence, he reported the stepfather. While the stepfather was imprisoned, the sentence was shockingly lenient considering the strong evidence, and the man witnessed the limitations of the legal system firsthand. The stepfather's connection to a local motorcycle gang involved in meth production complicated matters further, and after a short time, he was released. The scars left behind extended beyond the courtroom. With the stepfather returning to a nearby area where his mother and 2 sisters still lived, the man felt compelled to take matters into his own hands, not with violence, but through persistent acts of sabotage. He began by sending unsolicited deliveries and creating nuisances, but escalated his tactics, using the stepfather's personal information to make fraudulent purchases and exposing his misdeeds online. Despite all these efforts, nothing seemed sufficient to convey the weight of his anger and the gravity of what the stepfather had done. His frustration with a flawed system led him to consider even riskier moves, such as revealing the stepfather's betrayal to the motorcycle gang he had once been allied with, potentially exposing him to dangerous repercussions. This man's story is one of enduring trauma, the relentless quest for justice, and the moral complexities faced when legal avenues fall short. His struggle reflects the painful consequences of betrayal within families and the difficult choices that victims and their loved ones must confront in the pursuit of healing and closure. These 2 deeply personal narratives reveal the intricate and often painful consequences of the decisions we make. The story of marrying for financial security exposes how stability can bring comfort, yet simultaneously foster hidden depths of power and control, casting a long shadow over one's sense of freedom and self-worth. Meanwhile, the account of a family betrayed by a stepfather's abuse underscores the devastating impact such trauma has on individuals and the moral complexities faced when seeking justice and protection. Together, these stories illuminate how the pursuit of security or justice is rarely straightforward, often accompanied by sacrifice, regret, and difficult choices that weigh heavily on the heart and conscience. If these stories spoke to you and made you reflect, please consider subscribing for more heartfelt narratives. Like and share this with others who might find value in these experiences. And don't hesitate to share your own thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Your voice matters.